Hey, dear diary. So it is nighttime. It is definitely way past my bedtime. I'm old and I got a headache. But anyway, um, I just wanted to come on here. I know I usually do, or I have been lately doing my Dear Diary videos in the morning time after like my workout and my little morning routine and all of that. I just had a random message that I was just drawn to kind of speak about. And again, take it as you may. I don't know who this for or anything like that, but a lesson that I learned within the past few years is if you've ever been the type of person where you feel like you have constant rejection after rejection after rejection, and you are genuinely a good person, I want you to be grateful for every single one of those situations where you felt rejected in some kind of way, or you felt disregarded in some way. That statement that rejection is God's protection is one of the truest statements ever. And the revelation I got from that statement of rejection being God's protection is more so on the same narrative of becoming. So when you're in your becoming season, use all of that rejection, use all of the things you've learned. We can't be so caught up in the sting of the rejection, the sting of the hard lessons. In the moment, you literally feel it, but at the same time, we can't be too caught up in the sting and the pain of it, because when that season is done, when your becoming season is done, and you're reflecting on the lessons that were learned at that time, you will see that you truly were being protected. If that situation would have worked out, you would have never been the person that you are. If this situation would have worked out, you would have never learned the lesson that you've learned. If this situation didn't work out, you would have never even known that you can do that you had a certain talent or a certain skill, So it's hard and it's painful at the time in your becoming season, but on the other side of that, it's so much growth. It's so much that you can take from that. And it just like class, life is school, life is like a class. You should be taking notes in that season, because when you feel the transition and you feel the shift and you know that season has ended and a new season is beginning, you need to, like, you go for a test, you need to go reference the study guide, you need to go reference the note. That's the study guide, period. You need to go reference your notes when you go into the new season of who people showed themselves to be, who people showed themselves that they were trustworthy, weren't trustworthy. You a liar. You did this, you did that. You should be taking in information. You should be taking in notes in the becoming season, because a lot of people will be drastically different in the next chapter. So you need some notes to reference of who to, who to allow to be around you in the next chapter. So a lot of people, when you're the black sheep, when you're the different one, when you are, doing the opposite of what everyone else is doing in the family, in the friend group, in the, in all the circles that you run in, when you're the unique one, you're the odd one, and you always constantly feel rejected. Usually when you're that type of person, it's a rejection that happens throughout your life. So you kind of get used to it after a certain time, and you realize with growth and maturity and experience, you realize I'm not for everyone and everyone is not for me. And the best thing that you can do within that becoming season and in the isolation period of that season is become very, very comfortable with solitude. When you can find peace in the solitude of your isolation period, you can handle what the next chapter would bring, because again, although painful, some people can't go into the next chapter, and you will hear your name just dragged through the mud in every way possible, but you know what your truth is with these people, or whatever the situation is. But because you've already been prepared in your isolation period to find peace in your own solitude, you will obtain a level of peace within your life that anyone that is causing a disruption in that peace can go. And you have already been prepared and had practice to know what peace in solitude feels like. If you are embracing the change and the becoming and the birthing, you will go through that isolation period, and it might feel really lonely to some people. I personally am an introvert, so when it happens to me, it's just like party time for me. Silence, people leaving me alone. I'm a very busy person, so I'm wanted all day long, sun up to sundown. So the isolation period for me was like, yes, finally silence. I can hear my own thoughts. I can sort through the noise. The noise is silenced, because the noise is what keeps us kind of thrown off or whatever. But again, I don't know who this message is for, but when you're in that becoming season, you just have to it just makes you become comfortable in who you are, and knowing and learning and embracing who you are, because most people who are chosen for certain things will be rejected constantly, will be labeled constantly, will be bashed constantly. So all of that is just preparation, because you're never going to be able to satisfy everyone. Somebody is always going to have a problem with you in some kind of way. So that's like God's preparation for get used to it. I'll protect you from what I need to protect you from, and you just gonna have to deal with the reality of it. You know, everybody's not going, and that's just facts. Everybody's not in the circle, and that's just facts, you know. And if you try to take them and you've already received instruction not to, you will pay the price for it, because that's the test, you know. That's the test. Like I said, go reference that damn study guide from your becoming season and your isolation period. I hope you got one. I hope you got one, because the next chapter, you gonna need that damn study guide for all the tests that will come your way. But you will be perfectly fine, because it means nothing to be chosen by the world, but it means everything to be chosen by the Most High. And when you're chosen by the Most High, you will know it, you will feel it. Other people will know it, other people will feel it. So you have to silence that rejection. You have to eat the pain of that rejection and all the situations and circumstances and things that felt like I'm doing, the best that I can. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But be grateful sometimes that people don't really know who you are. A lot of times when God is hiding you in plain sight, a lot of times when God is sculpting and molding you, He hides the greatest blessing to people in their face, in plain sight, and see how they will respond and how they will react to the blessing when it's not all dressed up. It won't have a pretty red bow on it, It won't have a pretty red bow on it all the time to say, oh, this right here. Sometimes it will, and sometimes it won't. And that just goes back to, what I said. If you check out my video on my channel that talks about, the title of it is Perfectly Imperfect. I purposely post and make videos on my YouTube channel, I would say looking balmy, but it's just a reality. I don't have makeup on every second of the day. I made a conscious decision that that's not the type of content creator that I am at the moment. And I'm a real person that has a real life. And if I feel like I need to record something or get my thoughts out at any point, whether I've just came from the gym, whether I'm, running errands, whatever I'm doing, whether I'm working, whether I'm making product for my shop, whatever I'm doing at the time, I made a conscious decision when I initially started my channel that I'm not trying to show a image of perfection like a lot of people that's on YouTube that shows, their house is just perfect all the time. They don't step in front of the camera unless they're perfectly beat, all of that. And that's fine with how they want to create their content. I will start being a whole lot more intentional with the content that I create. But sometimes if you are creative, that you just got to get stuff out when you can get stuff out and polish it up when you polish it up. You know what I'm saying? Like it's you might lose the creativity if you waiting for, oh shoot, let me go in here and beat my face real quick. Let me go in here and change my outfit real quick. Like, ain't nobody got time for that all the time, But anyway, I digress. off on my little tangent. But yeah, just be grateful that some people didn't see the blessing that was just hiding in plain sight for them, because it means everything to be chosen by God and to be in alignment with your higher self and being in alignment with your own soul and your own spirit. And when you are in that space, it can feel lonely, depending on your personality. Again, for me, it's peaceful in that space, but it definitely clears your vision, it quiets your mind, and just embrace the becoming of your a greater version of you. Just embrace it, go with the flow. And I am learning to embrace it. Like anyone, it's gonna be days where I'm falling apart. It's gonna be days where I'm a sobbing, crying mess. It's gonna, those days exist for me, just like they exist for anyone else. But at the end of the day, I know that the hard lessons that God has pulled me through has been for my benefit. And I say all the time that nothing is wasted. And I truly, truly believe that nothing is wasted. And if you're a true student of life, you know that you're going to constantly see the same lessons and have the same test over and over again. You just have to be quiet enough to recognize and to discern what they are. But not to make this video too long, because I know I can talk about this type of stuff all day long. It's time for me to go to bed. Time for me to turn off these lights. But yeah, be comfortable in not being chosen by other people. Be comfortable with not being liked. And for a person like me, if you don't like me, that's even better. There's one less person in my phone, one less person that I gotta meet up for drinks, one less whatever. So thank you for taking yourself off the motherfucking list. Okay. Bye.